In the early part of the 20th century, spiritualism and mysticism was on the rise. So was the number of millionaires in the United States, with men like Henry Ford and John D. Rockefeller. But there's one you may not have heard of, Leslie Coombs Brand.
Case 1, The Apparition Files, The Branded City. Welcome.
Leslie Brand was a family man. He spent his time with his wife Mary at their sprawling estate, entertaining their friends and assorted relatives, and while they had no children of their own, they had 3 beloved dogs. They enjoyed not only the amenities of their home, but Mr. Brand also got his fix of aviation love that he had through owning his own airstrip and piloting in his free time.
When he was ready to settle down, Leslie Brand purchased land in the foothills above Glendale. He recruited his brother Nathaniel Dryden in order to build it for him over the course of the year 1903 to 1904, naming it El Miradero, meaning a viewpoint overlooking a high place. Inspired by Eastern Indian pavilion architecture, it was going to be his home.
And today we're here to find out if he might actually still be here.
Welcome to Leslie Brand's home, El Miradero.
Exciting as his life was, there was something about it his wife didn't know. That at the age of 50, Mr. Brand had met then 20-year-old Bertie Esther Carpenter on a train ride heading from Oregon to California. She would later make her way into the family known as Aunt Bertie, her name being changed from Carpenter to Gordon, a name that was picked supposedly by Mr. Brand in Tijuana, Mexico after their marriage. Known as Aunt Bertie, his family knew her and her 2 sons, Lee and Jack, who mysteriously lacked a father. But they were well loved, and no one ever knew. Not even until after his passing, when his great-granddaughter dug into the business.
Everything was perfect in Leslie Brand's home before he donated it. After his passing, of course, he had everything. He had horse stables, pool, fitness center, gardens, greenhouses, and even his own personal home cemetery.
For a man with so much in his life, from achievements to deep-rooted secrets, it's no wonder many say after he died, he never truly left his home. As you walk through the building that Leslie Brand used to live in, going from the library section to parts that are more resembling of a home, in the hearth room, you will find something most interesting. A place of a common haunt for him, or so they say. In this room, there are 2 framed paintings, one of his wife Mary and one of himself. His painting seems to take on the eyes of himself. Many have said they have felt watched by this painting and that its eyes have followed them as they have moved through the room. Others have claimed that they have seen him gazing out from the painting or standing just in front of it.
This tower that I'm standing in front of is actually considered to be the most haunted place at the Leslie Brand museum/library. Why? Because they say that you can still hear disembodied footsteps from him. Staff have felt his presence. They won't even go upstairs to clean because they see things out of the corners of their eyes, shadows, hear strange noises, and often feel odd presences. When they had a cat here, its hair used to stand up everywhere in some areas, especially here.
What this gorgeous home, its eggshell white exterior and lush landscape hides, is something that might be far more mysterious than your average donated mansion.
Leaving the doctor's house and the mansion behind, we set off up into the hills to find something that's not usually covered on the tourist brochures.
You can tell this place is haunted. Look at the plants.
So, okay, we're hiking up, hopefully, to see Leslie Brand's pyramid-shaped tomb. I don't know.
Check out the rest of the cemetery.
And I don't know if we're going to pass him on the way up here.
But we'll see.
It's quite a walk.
It is.
Information on how to get to the cemetery was vague at best. There was actually only one person who put a set of directions. They said to look for a set of stairs. At the top of the stairs, no cemetery. Just a dusty path leading into the bush. Okay. This way? I got a feeling there's nothing up here. But we kept on, further and further up into the brush. It got steeper, but we kept moving forward. There were no trail markings, really no trail at all. We knew it just had to be farther up. V took the point. I was really struggling. The climb just kept getting steeper. Hard to get footing with all the loose dirt. Something was terribly wrong. Then we realized.
Smart.
Okay, we went the wrong way.
Oops.
Went the wrong way.
But it looked cool.
I blame V.
The directions were a little unclear. There's multiple sets of stairs.
Something caught me.
Oh my god.
Okay, we're okay. We're okay. Oh! We made our way back down to the road and found yet another landmark, often talked about. The opening to some kind of tunnel. It was across the dry stream bed. Nobody seems to know what it was for. V considered climbing into it and doing an investigation, but we decided against it and kept moving forward.
As you make your way down the access road and up the second set of stairs, you will find yourself met with a gate. Behind this gate lies the Brand Cemetery, and while it is unfortunate that this gate is here, it is rather necessary as it is to prevent grave robbery. While the robbers were so kind as not to take any bones, many chose to deface the grave sites themselves, or to do unsavory things there.
Okay.
So close and yet so far. Why? Ah!
One other thing you will not get to see because of this fence is the inscription on this glorious stone pyramid. A pyramid said to have been possibly inspired by the fascination that people had at the time with mysticism and the occult.
It's said that on Halloween night, if you come here and visit Leslie Brand's grave, if you knock on the pyramid above where he is entombed 12 times, the 13th will come immediately after him knocking that 13th knock.
Under the words Brand, the inscription reads, "Am gentle, fleeting, wavering sprite friend and associate of this clay. To what unknown region born wilt thou now wing thy distant flight?" A poem that speaks to the soul at the moment of death. It touches on how fragile and finite the soul can be, but it implies some kind of final journey. Something interesting that has been left out is the excerpt directly after, which continues, "No more with wounded humor gay, but pallid, cheerless, and forlorn." Could the lack of inclusion of this line imply that Mr. Brand had a more positive outlook on the inevitability of death? Did he believe he would stay here longer after his passing? It has been said that he will haunt this place till his entire family is entombed there. I suppose we will just have to see.
If it's not locked.
Welcome back to the Apparition Files. This is Robert. I am here with V.
Hello!
And we're here to do the recap on our adventures at the Brand Library / Museum / Tombstone.
That's pretty cool, hey?
No, seriously. It was a beautiful day for filming. It was absolutely perfect.
I know. We couldn't have asked for a better day. Like, it was overcast, there was a little bit of wind, it wasn't too hot, but it also wasn't so cold that it was unreasonable. Although you did almost die.
No, I almost fell.
Oops.
No, I did. Seriously, yeah, I did almost fall on that loose dirt. But no, seriously, it was a great day.
Yeah.
We managed to actually get all the way up to the tomb, but not to the tomb. Because we made the assumption, as we did, that it was all just like abandoned and grown over. Especially when we saw those stairs. Our first assumption that it was up in the brush and it was...
And you could kind of see the graveyard from where we were going as we were going higher up.
Yeah.
What we also didn't know was that they had, in times after the photos that we had found, put up fencing, metal fencing. So we couldn't even go see the actual...
No, the archival photographs we saw, apparently, and they're not that old, but it was pretty grown over.
Yeah, it was.
And there was no fence around it.
Nope.
So yeah,
maybe a year or two.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't look too terribly old. That's for sure.
And we meant no harm. We meant no disrespect. We simply we wanted to do some e-meter readings and everything, and actually just take a look at the burial site, because it is unusual to find a burial site for someone from the early 20th century to be buried under a pyramid.
Yeah, I don't know what about that wouldn't be like intriguing and interesting, and not even just that. It's like it's something that's local around here. It's someone who is very, prevalent to this town. He made a huge impact on the city of Glendale. So it's like it's crazy to think about. He's buried under this. He's supposedly haunting, this whole area.
We didn't go at night to the graveyard for just safety reasons.
Because we can't, because there's a bunch of coyotes up in there. Like, as you saw, we were up in the hills. Like, we were going out and back. And also...
I almost stepped in poop.
He did. It was nearly catastrophic.
It was coyote.
Those shoes?
It was coyote poop.
Those shoes were new, too.
Those were new shoes. Those were new shoes.
We got those dusty for you. For you. Because that's what we're here for.
My sacrifice is not appreciated. But no, yeah, going up at night, it would have been,
And the gates would have been closed.
Yeah.
It was a gated area, too, that was open during the day for hiking.
Yeah.
But
It is. The hiking areas. I don't know how it is where you are, but here in Southern California, the hiking, the parks and everything close at sundown. So there was that mysterious tunnel that we saw.
Oh, I wanted to climb in it, but probably shouldn't. Don't ever climb into strange tunnels. Do what's smart.
Any young people watching, don't try this at home. I know when you're young, you go on these little adventures. Please don't. You can get injured. You could get bit by a rodent or a bat. It could be a bad day. So yeah, if you come,
never ever do it alone either. Never. If you're gonna go on something like this, have a couple of people with you. Know where you're going.
Tell your parents where you're going.
Yeah, have backup plans. But at the very least, just don't do it.
Don't go. Yeah,
watch. Just watch us go and enjoy it like that.
I almost fell.
That's why you don't go.
But no, the sitting room where you were with the fireplace was absolutely beautiful, but it was eerie.
You know why it was eerie? I know we talked a little bit about this already, but that painting, I just can't believe that painting of Leslie Brand in there is considered haunted. And I don't know if you felt it. Like, it felt kind of like I was being watched while I was sitting in there, waiting around and kind of looking at stuff.
No, you don't. That is weird. We were alone in the room. You don't feel alone in the room. That actually is true. It's 100% true. You don't. And actually, it feels like that in a couple areas of the house. You don't. Like in the modern library, you don't feel that.
No.
In the modern reception area, when you enter, you don't feel that. But in the original, unaltered areas of the home, there is a weird feeling.
There is, and it might also be from the fact that, like, it's also such an interesting thing from its times to have those embellishments. Like, he's got his initials painted on the ceiling with portraits of him and his wife hand painted on the ceiling. Like, the level of detail and the embellishment, and it's not you can tell it was a place that was loved,
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's why it's so eerie, because now it's a place of the public, but you still feel like it belongs as a home.
And if you go to the library, it actually is a really nice library collection. We went through the collection. It's actually very impressive, the library collection there.
They have a lot of really incredible old books. We found a Gregorian chant book, which was wild. But no, you should absolutely check it out. Take a look. They've got all kinds of great things for the community as well. So if you're part of the Glendale area and you are in like walking distance or driving distance, this is a great place for you to go and hang out. Because while it is a little bit spooky, it's only going to be really spooky at night, and you're not allowed in when it's nighttime.
And the front, what used to be the front yard of the mansion, is actually part of it is a playground for children. Mm-hmm. There's a wonderful little playground for children over there, and on the other side, it's open grass. A lot of people were exercising their dogs, so it actually is a very nice place to spend the day.
House. There's a tea house there as well. So
there's a Japanese tea house, which is absolutely gorgeous. It has very limited schedules.
It's a reservation, I believe.
Yeah. So, it's a beautiful facility, and you really don't expect it here in modern Los Angeles County. No. You really don't expect it.
It was really incredible. I'm so glad we had the opportunity to go up there, take a look, take a video of it, and kind of just have a chance to share and document this beautiful place and the story around it.
So, from V and myself, thank you for joining us on our little ghost adventure. Do you have anything, closing remarks?
Thank you for joining us on the Apparitions Files for our first case. Come back soon for case 2. Ghost trains.
Stay spooky.